For today's tutorial, we are going to make this super cute daisy granny square. For the centre of my flower, I am going to use this yellow yarn here. And first of all, we need to create a magic ring. So to do this, I'm going to wrap the yarn around my fingers twice. I'm going to go under this loop here, pull the yarn from underneath, twist, and then on this twist I'm then going to yarn over and pull that yarn through our loop. At this point I'm now going to chain 3 and I'm going to yarn over and put a double crochet. So we're going to yarn over, we're going to put our hook in, draw up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. I'm going to do 12 of these in total, counting our chain 3 as a stitch. So we have 2, there's 3, 4, yarn over into the loop, pull through a loop, draw through 2 and through 2. So we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Once we have 12, like so, we can then pull on our ring. We're going to go into the top of our chain 3 from the start, and we're going to slip stitch. So draw up a loop from behind, pull through, chain 1, and then we should be able to cut off our yarn. And I will now be able to pull the remaining yarn off like so, and then I can close up my ring by pulling on the tail, and we should be left with a circle that looks like this. I'm going to clean up my circle by weaving in my ends. So to weave in my ends, I'm going to thread my needle, and I'm going to go through the back of my loops like so. And then we should be able to just cut off. I'm going to weave in my center. So I'm just going to go through the back of my loops. Like so. And then I should be able to cut off. For the next part of our flower, we're going to create a slip knot. And then we're going to join in through one of our spaces in our flower by creating a slip stitch and pulling our stitch through, like so. Then going to chain 3. We're then going to yarn over, go into that space, draw up a loop, yarn over again. We should have 4 loops now on our hook. Pull through 2, yarn over again, go into our loop, draw up another loop. We should have 5 loops on our hook. Pull through 2, and then we should yarn over and pull through all 3. Now going to chain 2. For the next, we're going to yarn over twice. We're going to go into the next space, draw up a loop, pull through 2, pull through 2. We're going to yarn over, we're going to go into the next space, draw up a tall loop, yarn over, pull through 2. We now have 3 loops on our hook. Yarn over into that space, draw up a loop, draw up another loop, 2 loops on our hook, pull them nice and tall. We've now got 4 loops on our hook. We yarn over and pull through all 4 loops, chain 2. We're now going to yarn over twice, go into the next space, draw up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Going to yarn over, go back into the space, draw up a tall loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, into the space, draw up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. We should have 4 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through all 4 loops, chain 2. We're going to yarn over twice. Go into the next space, draw up a loop, pull through 2, pull through 2, yarn over, go into the next space, draw up a loop, pull through, yarn over into the next space, draw up a loop, pull through 2, 4 loops on our hook, pull through, and then chain 2. Yarn over twice, go into our next space, draw up a loop, pull through 2, yarn over, draw up a tall loop, into the space, yarn over, into the space, pull through 2, pull through all 4 and chain 2. Once again, we're going to go double, yarn over, pull through through 2, yarn over into the space, draw up a tall loop, pull through 2, yarn over into the same space, draw up a loop, pull through 2, pull through, chain 2. So your flower should be looking like this. Yarn over twice into the next, pull through 2, pull through 2, yarn over, draw up a tall loop, yarn over into the space, draw up a tall loop, pull through 2, pull through all 4, chain 2, yarn over twice into the next space, pull through 2, yarn over into the space, draw up a tall loop, yarn over, draw up a tall loop, pull through 2, 4 loops on our hook, pull through all 4, chain 2, yarn over twice, pull through 2, pull through 2, yarn over into the same loop, pull through 2, yarn over into the same space, draw up a loop, pull through 2, pull through all 4, chain 2, oops, yarn over twice into the next loop, draw up a loop, pull through 2, pull through 2, yarn over into the space, draw up a loop, pull through 2, yarn over into the space, draw up a loop, pull through 2, 4 loops on our hook, pull through, chain 2, yarn over into the space, oops, yarn over twice into the space, draw up a loop, pull through 2, pull through 2, yarn over into the space, draw up a tall loop, pull through 2, yarn over into the space, draw up a tall loop, pull through 2, pull through all 4, oops, chain 2, and then we're going to slip stitch and join. At this point we want to weave in our ends, so I'm just going to use my hook to weave through my ends into the back loop of my project. The daisy should have 12 petals. For our next colour, I'm going to be using this green, and then we are going to again create a slip knot on our hook. We are then going to go into one of our chain 2 spaces and join with a slip stitch. We are then going to chain 3, 1, 2, counting our first. We're going to yarn over, go into our loop, draw up a loop, and we're going to put in a double crochet. We're going to count our chain 3 as a double. So we're going to go in and put another double crochet. Now we want to chain 2 and put in another set of 3 double crochets. That will complete our first corner. We're now going to yarn over and we're going to go into our next chain 2 space and put in 3 double crochets. We're now going to yarn over and put in 3 more double crochets in our next chain 2 space. Now we should have a corner, chain 2 cluster, chain 2 cluster, and now we're going to put in another corner. So we're going to do 3 double crochets followed by a chain 2, followed by a cluster of 3 double crochets, and we're going to put 2 double crochets, we'll put 3 double crochets into this space, 3 double crochets into the next 2 spaces, then we're going to build a corner. So we're going to put in 3 double crochets, chain 2, and then we'll put in another 3 double crochets into that same space. Whoops. So chain 2, and we're going to put in another set of 3 double crochets, and we're going to put in 3 double crochets into the next 2, then into our next space we're going to put 3 double crochets and a chain 2, and 3 more double crochets, put in 3 more double crochets into this space, and then into our next space we chain 2, into our next space we're going to put 3 double crochets, and then into our next space a cluster of 3 double crochets, and then join. Now we're going to chain 3, turn our work, yarn over, and put 2 double crochets into this space. Then we're going to put 2 double crochets into the next space, followed by another 2, so making a cluster of 3 double crochets. We're then going to put in another set of double crochets, and in our next corner we're going to do a cluster of 3 double crochets, followed by a chain 2, and then 3 more double crochets, like so. And we're just going to repeat that round until we have finished. At the end of this row you should have something that looks a little like this. So we're now going to slip stitch into the very top of our chain, and now we should be able to cut off our yarn, pull through, and then you can weave in your ends. And at the end you'll have something like this. If you want another row to make it larger, you can pop in another row. There we go.